Community Business Development Corporations, Business Financing Support and Advice. CBDC Business Startup Course, Lesson 8, Sales and Customer Service. Quality Customer Service and the Selling Process, developed by Training Solutions, Newfoundland and Labrador for CBDC. Tutorial outline. Delivering quality customer service, attitude, assessing customer needs, providing service, in-person, telephone, and electronic, dealing with difficult and angry customers, the selling process. Module 1, Getting Started. We all serve customers. Each and every one of us serves customers, whether we realize it or not. So, how can we serve them better and improve ourselves in the process? Customer service and you. Ask yourself, what contribution do I make to customer service? What would I like to change so that I could provide better customer service? What are my customer service strengths? What are my customer service weaknesses? Course objectives. By the end of this course, you should be able to state what customer service means in relation to all your customers, both internal and external, recognize how your attitude affects customer service, identify your customers' needs, build goodwill through in-person customer service, provide outstanding customer service over the phone, connect with customers through email, deal with difficult customers, and understand the fundamentals of selling. Module 2, Customer Service and Customers. What is customer service? Customer service is a series of activities designed to enhance the level of customer satisfaction. That is, the feeling that a product or service has met the customer expectation. Customer service can be defined as any action you take to ensure that a customer is pleased with the transaction on a long-term basis. Who are my customers? Think of an example where you experienced 1. Great customer service. What word would you use to describe the experience? What made it great? How did it make you feel? Or 2. Awful customer service. What word would you use to describe the experience? What made it awful? How did it make you feel? Your challenge is to repeat the things that made your experience great and consciously avoid doing the things that made the service awful. Who are customers? Customers are all the people you interact with, both inside and outside your organization. There are 2 types of customers. External. Anyone outside your organization who receives your products and services and pays for them. Open to approach by competitors and may not be dependent on you for products and services and may switch away to competitors. Or internal. Anyone inside your organization that relies on you for materials, information, instruction, participation, or assistance. Who are customer service providers? In any business, a customer service provider is someone whose performance of their role is important to the overall results for the customer. It could be argued that every member of staff within an organization has an element of customer service provision within their responsibilities. Who are customers? These may include maintenance security staff, HR, finance, IT staff, management, other team members, or business partners. Customer service is doing what needs to be done, when it is required, and how it should be done, leaving the customer pleased with the transaction on a long-term basis. Module 3, Establishing Your Attitude. To provide customer service, you need to put energy and enthusiasm into your interactions with customers. Great customer service begins with a great attitude. Reflecting a positive attitude on your job is nothing more than really liking your job and allowing your actions and words to broadcast this enjoyment to your customers, supervisors, and fellow employees. A positive attitude is what makes a boring job fun, and a negative attitude is what makes a fun job boring. And appearance counts. We all know that our appearance affects how people respond to us, but it can also affect our own self-image, and that in turn can affect how we interact with others. We send a positive attitude by our appearance, our body language, the sound of our voice, our telephone skills, and our workspace. A professional appearance can create a positive and comfortable atmosphere for clients. The power of a smile. A warm, genuine smile puts customers at ease and begins to build a connection with them. It can also help you maintain a positive attitude when you're interacting with customers. Having a smile on your face makes you look more welcoming. It is something that cannot be overestimated as a customer service and retention tool. Dale Carnegie notes that the expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. Your energy level. We all experience low points during the course of a day, but there are ways to boost your energy when it is lagging. Be sure to eat a good breakfast and lunch. Take a walk, even if it's just to the restroom. Plug into others. Being with energized people helps keep you energized. Drink a glass of cold water. Turn up the beat and listen to music on your iPod. Use humor. It is essential for anyone in a customer-facing job approach their day in a sensible, structured fashion, which allows them to get the most out of themselves. Staying energized is often difficult, but as long as you develop a routine for dealing with the difficult parts and for ensuring that you're on for the 8 hours or however long it is, then you can find a way to deal with even the most dreary day. Staying positive. Optimistic people are a pleasure to be around. Pessimistic people are not. We can't control the problems and irritations that come during the course of a day. The only thing we can completely control is our attitude and how we react to the situation. Remember, you need to be happy with the reflection in the mirror. Here are some tips on staying positive. Rearrange or redecorate your workplace. View negative situations as a training session for your future. Use them to your benefit. They may help you later in life. Find ways to spend more time on tasks you enjoy. Look for opportunities to learn new things and realize that you can find positives in any negative situation. Module 4, Identifying and Addressing Customer Needs. Effective listening and speaking skills. Why is listening so important? Listening effectively helps us to determine the needs of our customers. These needs may include whatever the customer wants or expects us to provide. A skilled listener will pick up on different cues and ask questions or probe to determine the real issue or need. Most people take listening skills for granted. People think that anyone can listen effectively, but this is not true. How many times have you gone to a restaurant and your order was wrong? This happens too frequently. What is listening? Listening is the primary means of gathering information. Listening is an active process, whereas hearing is a physical action of gathering sound waves through one's ear canal. When you actively listen, you go through a process of hearing, attending, comprehending, and responding. We will now talk about those components: hearing, attending, comprehending, and responding. What is listening? Hearing. Your ears pick up sound waves. They are gathering information that your brain will analyze. During this procedure, external noise and internal distractions may distort the customer's message. You as a retailer must change your ability to listen more effectively. Attending. Once your ears have gathered the sounds, your brain goes to work trying to sort everything that is being heard. Here's where you decide what's important so you can focus your attention on the proper sound. This can be extremely difficult when you are receiving multiple messages or sounds. You must eliminate as many distractions as possible. Concentration and focus is key. Comprehending. Once you've decided which messages or customer to listen to, your brain begins a process of assigning meaning to what you heard. Just like a computer, your brain has files of information, sounds, sights, shapes, visions, experiences, knowledges on various topics. It sorts through. As it compares what was heard to what is sorted, it tries to match the pieces. This is called memory and recognition. Responding. Selecting an appropriate response is crucial to the success of your interaction with customers. The words you select, the way you deliver them, and the nonverbal signals you send all have meaning. You must take care when selecting the right response and method of delivery when dealing with customers. Characteristics of a good listener. Empathy. Put yourself in the customer's place. Try and relate their wants, needs, and issues. Understanding. Listen to the customer to gain an understanding of what is wanted. Patience. Slow down and do not rush the customer. Attentiveness is often displayed through nonverbal cues, i.e., nodding of the head. The customer will know if they have your full attention. Objectivity. Avoid subjects that are controversial. such as politics, religion, opinions, etc. You do not want to lose a sale, so treat all customers alike, no matter how they look or dress. Customer needs. Determining what the customer needs. The first step in improving customer service is to determine what customers value in their interactions with your organization. What do they want? What do they need? You need to first understand the customer's situation. To do this, ask them to explain the problem or their need fully. Ask open-ended questions. Delve into vague answers. Try to dig deep without being too intrusive. Ask closed questions. Be careful with assumptions. Sometimes assumptions are based on misconceptions. The more we listen to customers, the better we can tell if our assumptions are accurate. What you really want to portray is that you have the wisdom to recognize the customer's needs and the good grace to let them make things clear themselves. Meeting basic customer needs. In providing customer service, the priorities of your organization should match the priorities of your customers. At a minimum, you should be sure that you are meeting customers' basic needs. 1. Friendliness. Friendliness is the most basic of all customer needs, usually associated with being greeted graciously and with a smile. We all want to be acknowledged and welcomed by someone who is glad to see us. A customer should never feel they're an intrusion on your workday. 2. Understanding and empathy. Customers need to feel that you understand and appreciate their circumstances without criticism or judgment. 3. Fairness. We all need to feel we are being treated fairly. Customers may get annoyed and defensive when they feel they are subject to unfair treatment. 4. Control. Control represents the customer's need to feel they have an impact on the way things turn out. 5. Options and alternatives. Customers need to feel that other avenues are available to getting what they want accomplished. They realize that they may be in uncharted waters and they depend on us to be in the know. 6. Information. Customers need to be educated and informed about our products, services, and that they don't want us leaving anything out. Going the extra mile. Customer service is not about giving the customer what they ask for. Going the extra mile is important for the very reason that it is not necessary. The customer will remember the things that someone did for them that were completely unexpected, that another organization or salesperson might not have done. Try these simple tasks where appropriate. Remember someone's name and use it frequently in conversation. Remember what service someone has sought in the past. Contact your customers regularly. Inform customers in advance of special situations that may affect service. Be available to meet his or her needs. Follow up when you say you will. Be organized and thorough. Module 5, Customer Satisfaction. Follow-up. Following up after any customer contact is something that people consider an optional extra in organizations. To some people, the idea is to simply provide the customer with what they came for and let them go on their way once they've got it. The priority after this is to go ahead with doing your job in respect to other customers. However, the fact is that a little bit of follow-up work done in a considered way can make a huge difference to customer satisfaction. Follow-up can take many forms. It may be the person or persons who are on the spot to provide advice on customer service if the customer has difficulty with the product or service. It may be a call a few weeks after the service is provided to find out whether the customer is genuinely happy with the outcome and whether there is anything more that can be done. Addressing complaints. Customer complaints should always be taken seriously. You can turn this negative situation into a positive by treating complaints as opportunities to show customers how much you care about providing exceptional service. Customers have the right to be taken seriously, to be listened to be respected, and to receive a quick response. Turning difficult customers around. Here are 7 situations of difficult customers and suggested ways of dealing with them. You don't know the answer to a customer's question. Tell the customer that you don't know the answer, but you will find it. You have to say no to a customer request. Explain why you have to say no and offer alternatives. Your computer is working slowly and the customer is getting impatient. Tell the customer your computer is working slowly. Keep the customer informed about what is happening. The customer makes unrealistic requests. Explain what alternatives you can offer. The customer doesn't seem to believe you. Offer to show proof or backup information. The customer is angry. Stay calm. Acknowledge the customer's feelings. The customer doesn't want to give you the information you need. Explain why you need the information. Module 6, In-Person Customer Service. In-person interactions provide a great opportunity to build rapport with customers. People don't always want to communicate with organizations on a computer. They want to talk to real, live, responsive, responsible people who will listen and help them get satisfaction. Dealing with at-your-desk requests. Sometimes working in a job that requires customer service will put you on the spot. You can be working hard on something you have had in your planner for days when suddenly a customer turns up at your desk with a problem. It is common in these situations to wonder if you should go ahead and provide the customer with the help they need, thus missing the work you were scheduled to do, or to try and find a way to get rid of the customer so you can get on with what you need to do. In any case like this, the matter of priority arises. There is nothing more unprofessional than turning a customer away and saying, "Sorry, I'm busy. If you want to come back another time, I'm sure I'll be able to fit you in tomorrow, next week, in 10 days' time." The customer has come to see you in person. They consider their problem to be one of some importance, and they are relying on you to help them. If the work in hand is really something that cannot wait, you have two options. You can find someone else who will be able to do the work and turn your attention to the customer, or you can find someone to help the customer and return to your work. Dealing with at-your-desk requests. It is vital to keep a sense of courtesy whatever you decide to do. The customer who has come all this way to see you will be somewhat unimpressed if you just ask them to take a seat and assign someone to ask what the problem is. However urgent the work you are doing is, you have enough time to speak to the customer, ask them the nature of the problem, and think about how best to bring about a solution. It may be that the difficulty is one only you can solve. If, however, you find someone else to help the customer, make sure that you have taken note of the problem and explain it thoroughly to whoever you delegate the matter to. Also, ensure that the person you hand over to is someone who can genuinely solve the problem. Otherwise, it will look like you have simply wriggled out of the situation. Courtesy and competence are essential, whoever deals with the problem. Remember the old saying, be ruthless with time and gracious with people. Using body language to your advantage. In any in-person interaction, body language has a major effect on how people interpret your message and respond to it. Types of body language include eye contact, facial expressions, posture, gestures, and nodding or shaking your head yes or no. Using body language to your advantage. It has been said that it is possible to lie with your words but never with your eyes. Whatever you can say to a person vocally, it is always better to be able to back it up by looking them in the eye and making a statement that they can trust. Whatever you say to a customer, it is important to use body language to your advantage. The way you conduct yourself in the presence of a customer may well have more impact on their confidence in you than anything you say to them. If you look around you when they are relating a problem, it will give them the impression that you do not care and only want them to get it off their chest and leave you alone. If you look at them and nod when they are saying something of importance, they will take from that that you are listening to them and are interested in seeing that their problem gets solved. Retaining a customer's confidence is essential, and your use of body language will dictate how successful you are in doing that. Module 7. Providing customer service over the phone. When you are talking to someone in person, body language makes up a large part, some would say more than half, of your message. When you're talking to someone over the phone, the success of your interactions depends almost entirely on your tone of voice and your choice of words. Getting these things right isn't easy, but with a little practice, anyone can learn how to provide excellent customer service over the phone. The success of your interactions depends on your tone of voice and your choice of words. Customers expect a courteous, helpful response when they call your business. Reviewing these basics of telephone etiquette can remind you about what it takes to provide the kind of response that customers expect. Answer promptly on the third ring at the latest, before you pick up the phone, and any conversation you are having. Answer the phone by saying hello or good morning. Often callers don't hear the first thing you say. If the first thing you say is your name, some people might not catch it. Speak clearly in a pleasant tone of voice. Avoid speaking too quickly. Give the caller time to explain the reason for the call. Don't interrupt. Don't sound like you're in a hurry. When you need to put someone on hold, ask first, "May I put you on hold for just a minute?" After you return to the line, thank the customer for holding. If you need to transfer a call, explain what you're doing. When you end a call, let the customer hang up first. This will ensure you don't cut the customer off prematurely. Some tips and tricks. Smile. Smiling gives your voice a more cheerful, enthusiastic tone. It also reminds you to be upbeat and positive. Sound enthusiastic. Avoid organizational jargon, such as acronyms. Stay alert to how the customer is responding. Does the customer sound confused, skeptical, or unsatisfied? Don't use a speakerphone unless you're having a conference call. If you need to make notes about the call, do that right away. Don't put your hand over the mouthpiece. Make listening noises. Tell the caller what you're doing. When you end the call, say goodbye and let the customer hang up first. Module 8, Providing Electronic Customer Service. A growing number of customer interactions are taking place online, but online interactions have limitations. To provide excellent customer service online, you need to understand what works and what doesn't work, and how to make the most of the tools that are available to you. If we are required to contact a customer by email, it is important to be aware that the usual standards pertaining to email do not apply. Many, if not most people, have a different way of expressing ourselves in email than we would if we were writing a letter or speaking on the phone. Perhaps emboldened by the text messaging revolution, many people have taken to text speak approach to writing emails. However, when using email to communicate with customers, we need to remember to abide by basic etiquette that is appropriate no matter to whom we are writing. Email etiquette. Some do's of email. Do use greetings and closings in most messages. Do remember to check your spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Do use a spell checker. Do place yourself in your reader's position and ask yourself how you would feel if you received the message you are planning to send. Do remember that some people check their email only once a day. Don't expect instant replies. Some don'ts of email. Don't include private or confidential information in an email. Don't label a message urgent unless it is. Don't use all capital letters. Don't send a message when you are angry or upset. Don't forward a message unless you feel completely certain that the original sender would not object to having other people see the email. Don't say anything negative about another person in an email message. Don't use the reply all feature unless the original recipients really need to see your reply. Some tips and tricks. Make the subject line in an email message as specific as possible. Avoid loaded words in email message, such as failed. An example, your claim was rejected because you failed to provide the necessary documentation. Instead use, we are unable to process your application until we receive the following information. Use a greeting in an email message, such as good morning, to make the tone friendlier. Use the magic words, thank you, in most email messages. Avoid electronic ping pong. As a rule of thumb, when the email trail exceeds 4 emails, pick up the phone. Some tips and tricks. When we are communicating with customers via the internet, it is essential to remember that things are different. We all have different ways of expressing ourselves in person and on the phone, and it is common sense that the issue of how to correctly express yourself in online communications will be somewhat different from the traditional ways. Email can come across as being extremely abrupt. Even phrases like thank you and have a great time can seem quite straight and lifeless when placed in a standard font on a computer screen or smartphone. It is essential to avoid the abruptness in a customer service email. Picking your words carefully is essential. Avoiding jargon is fundamental, and it must be remembered that brevity in what you say should be limited to simply saying things in the simplest way. Abbreviations are not for this kind of email. When we speak out loud, our words have an inflection. They are absorbed by the listener, and then we move on. In an email, it stays there on the page and can be read in a number of different ways. It is essential to avoid saying things that are ambiguous, as this can lead to a complaint some way down the line if misinterpreted. Remember, too, that in person, if you say something, the listener can then respond instantly before you move on to your next point. This means that if something you said was unclear, they can seek clarification before replying. In email, this is not possible. Getting things said clearly and unambiguously, and ideally just once, is hugely important. Module 9, Dealing with Upset Customers. When your job entails dealing with customers, it is inevitable that from time to time, some of those with whom you deal will be dissatisfied and in something of a mood. Your job in this case, as in all cases of customer service, is to ensure that the issues are dealt with promptly and efficiently. If this should mean that you have to listen to some ranting first, then it is worth accepting that this will be the case and allowing a customer to say what they feel they have to say before getting to the heart of the problem. When all is said and done, you will be seeking to get the point across to the customer that you both have a common goal, the resolution of their problem. De-escalating anger. The first step in dealing with difficult customers is to lower the emotional temperature of the situation so that you can have a rational discussion. The two essential steps in calming customers are showing empathy and making it clear that you want to help. Establishing common ground. How to establish common ground when dealing with an unsatisfied customer. Let the customer vent. Express empathy. Make sure you understand the problem. Ask questions if you don't. Work with the customer to find a solution. Ask the customer to agree to the solution. Setting your limits. In these situations, it's important not to give customers the brush off with expressions like, "That's not our policy, that's not my job, we don't do things like that." Managing your own emotions. Focus on these points to maintain control of your emotions when dealing with an agitated customer. Understand how you typically respond to situations like this. Don't allow yourself to become angry or defensive. The calm model to resolve the issue. Continue normal work. Accept an apology if it is offered, or accept that it is not. Look and listen for signs of escalation. Maintain assertiveness in resolving the issue. Conducting a debrief. Review of the incident. What caused the customer to become so enraged? What did I do well? What did I do wrong? Identify lessons learned. How should I have handled this situation? What will I do differently next time? What can be done to prevent this from happening again? And who will do it? Module 10, Dealing with Vulgarity and Insults. Providing great customer service does not mean that you have to put up with threats, intimidation, or vulgar language from customers or coworkers. If customers are out of control, you need to take over the situation and protect yourself. Different people have different levels of tolerance for vulgar language. Set limits on what type of language you will tolerate and then decide how to respond when customers cross the line. Some people will resort to vulgar language and insults to express their anger. As a customer service provider, it is up to you to decide what you will allow and what you won't. One frequent outcome of insults and vulgarity being traded or directed is that things escalate to a more confrontational pitch, something that will make other customers nervous and often afraid. As you have to consider customers' comfort, it is therefore essential that you do not allow an atmosphere of hostility to persist. How to respond to legal threats. Do not attempt to offer your own interpretation of the legal issues involved. Tell the customer that you are not in a position to speak for your organization on legal matters, unless you are. Inform your supervisor immediately. How to respond to physical threats. When a customer makes a physical threat, your number one priority is to protect yourself and your coworkers. Get help immediately, either from your coworkers, from security personnel, or 911. Inform your supervisor immediately. Module 11, the selling process. The concept of selling a product or service involves many steps. Step 1, product and customer knowledge. Step 2, define customer needs. Step 3, presentation and demonstration. Step 4, handling objections. Step 5, closing the sale. And step 6, follow-up. Step 1, product and customer knowledge. You must know all the details that accompany your product or service. Obviously, you have to believe in your product. You cannot expect someone to purchase from you if you yourself are not using or wearing or purchasing the product you represent. You also have to know your customer. Find out who your customers are, i.e., age, gender, location, disposable income, how they buy, and where they buy, etc. Based on your findings, you need to develop methods to anticipate their needs. Step 2. Define customer needs. It is easy to help customers who know exactly what they want, but it takes a little skill and patience to figure out what customers need and wants and then provide options to them. Some of the questions you might ask are the standard who, what, where, when, and especially why. Step 3. Presentation and demonstration. Successful retail salespeople present options to match the customer's needs. This may sometimes involve demonstrating the use of the product or service. You have the knowledge, so you need to carefully plan your demonstrations so that you highlight convenience of use, convenience of purchasing, special features, availability of service, need for training to use the product, reliability of the product, reputation of the seller, and friendliness of the salesperson. Sometimes the relationship between a particular feature and its benefit seems obvious. However, it's a good idea to describe benefits in explicit terms. It is important for salespeople to focus on both benefits and features. Sometimes salespeople are so enthusiastic about the features of their products that they forget to explain what the products will do for their customers. Customers might not care about what the wonderful features your product has, but they will care about how your products will solve their problems or make their lives easier. Step 4. Handling objections. Here are some of the real reasons why people are unwilling to make a purchase. They don't have the money. They can't get financing. They can't decide on their own. They think they can get a better deal from somewhere else. They're not sure your product will meet their needs. They think the product is overpriced. They want to shop around, and they have an established relationship with another vendor. Step 4. Handling objections. Basic strategies. Before you can respond to an objection, you need to understand the real reasons behind it. You might discover, for example, that the customer can't afford your product, the customer doesn't like your product, or the customer has a strong personal tie to another vendor. In advanced strategy situations, you overcome objections by asking specific questions. Objection: that's more than I wanted to spend. Response: how much were you thinking of spending? Do you know about the trade-off between price and reliability? Objection: I'm not ready to make a decision. Response: what additional information would be helpful to you? Objection: I'm not sure this product is right for us. Response: what features are you looking for? Objection: I'd like to shop around some more. Response: what other brands are you considering? Objection: I'm too busy to make a decision right now. Response: can we get together when you have more time? Be prepared to answer the all-important question that all customers have. Welcome objections and see them as valuable concerns. Dealing with objections allows you to find out more about the customer's likes and dislikes. How well you handle objections helps you create a better relationship with your customers over the long term. Step 5. Closing the sale. A good salesperson needs to know when it's time to close and how to go about it. Once you start picking up signals that it may be time to close, you can ask a confirmation question, such as, how soon do you need this? If the customer gives you a date, you can proceed with the closing. Or alternatively, what color do you prefer? What model would you like? And how many do you need? Step 6. Follow-up. The closing is not the final stage of a sale. The final stage is following up, which is actually a process that may continue indefinitely. The follow-up will make the customer feel valued and appreciated, and that you really do care. This stage may have two valuable outcomes: referrals and future sales. Remember, one of the deepest cravings of human nature is that we feel appreciated. Module 12. Wrap up. 10 things you can do to wow customers every time. 1. Greet customers with a smile, either in person or on the phone. 2. Be helpful. Make customers feel that your primary concern is being helpful to them. 3. Listen to customers. In dealing with customers, listen more than you talk. 4. Know your service and know your organization. Your expertise is part of the value you bring to customer interactions. 5. Don't make customers feel like dummies. 6. Remember that employees will treat customers the way they are treated by management and to how they are treated by customers. 7. Make customers feel important and appreciated. 8. Make things easy for customers. Think about how you can make every interaction as fast and effortless as possible for customers. 9. Throw in something extra. Giving customers a little more than they expect can make them feel that you really care about them. And 10. Thank you. In conclusion, Lesson 8 of the CBDC Business Startup course has covered the topic of sales and customer service and touched on the subjects of quality customer service and the selling process. The next part of this course is on human resources and begins with Lesson 9, Hiring.